Hello, Manchester City fans. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, your multimedia and YouTube presenter, back with another video. You loved this last time, everybody, when we did a bit of a profile on new signing Jeremy Doku. We're going to be speaking about Matheus Nunes today and exactly where he would fit in this Manchester City setup. Before we get going, everybody, make sure you're subscribed to the Manchester City Manchester Evening News YouTube channel. Make sure you're keeping up to date with the Talking City podcast. We've got 4 a week minimum at this moment in time. And of course, making sure you're liking every video that we put out. So it's great on the Manchester City sphere / algorithm. Let's get into it. Well, everybody, versatility. That is my reasoning as to why Pep Guardiola wants to sign the Portuguese midfielder from Wolverhampton Wanderers, who allegedly refused to play in their Carabao Cup game last night, which is very, very interesting. Trying to force a move to City, according to several reports. But we're here to talk about his player profile and who on earth can we compare him to. Well, in terms of player comparison in the Premier League, I'd personally go with someone like Declan Rice. Obviously, Declan was someone who Manchester City were looking at earlier on in the window, but could they get Declan Rice quality for half the price? I think so. I think there is a lot of positives when it comes to Matheus Nunes. Pep has called him one of the best midfielders he's seen in recent times. I think when you are looking at his ball-winning capabilities, it's extremely good. His heat map is almost on a different trajectory to Kovacic's and Calvin Phillips's in terms of the distance he covers. He's absolutely everywhere when it comes to his Premier League heat map from last season, even to the start of this season. He's been playing in a very, very poor, in my opinion, Wolverhampton Wanderers side, who really don't get the best out of the Portuguese midfielder. And as mentioned previously, Pep is a huge fan. Ground jewels, he's 10th in the Premier League as of last year. Was also 6th in terms of dribbles in the Premier League last season. That was ahead of Bruno Guimaraes, Bruno Fernandes, and, would you believe this, Kevin De Bruyne. In other words, Matheus Nunes is the perfect ball winner and the perfect ball carrier in all embers of the pitch. And that is something that Pep Guardiola may have missed when it came to Gundogan, but the physicality and the athleticism of Matheus Nunes is almost on a different level to Gundogan. It comprises a bit of Kovacic, a bit of Calvin Phillips, and a bit of Gundogan. So why does City want him? Following a Champions League game between City and Sporting Lisbon, which we'll all remember, Guardiola came out afterwards, and it was very similar to when Ferguson came out in 2002-2003 about Ronaldo and said that he wanted him, and there was discussions there with him when he was playing for Lisbon at the time. It's very, very similar. It feels very, very similar anyway to what Pep is like with Nunes. He labelled him as one of the best midfielders he'd seen, and that's a massive indictment from Pep Guardiola. Where does this leave Calvin Phillips as well? And when it comes to the pecking order, there's a lot of people who'd actually favour Tommy Doyle getting ahead of Calvin Phillips. Now, that's a separate discussion. But in terms of Matheus Nunes and the profile that he's given to this Manchester City midfield, it's versatility everywhere. It's a ball winner. It's a ground jewel merchant. It's someone who will get forward at will and someone who is going to elevate that Manchester City midfield and also may sort of spell the end of so much game time being played by Rodri. I think the beauty of Nunes is he's that perfect number 8, Steven Gerrard-esque from yesteryear, who can defend, who's versatile out wide, left or right, and could play in a wing-back role. He's that good. His physicality, as I've mentioned, his athleticism, his versatility is that perfect and backed up by stats that in this Pep Guardiola system, he would just slot in very, very similarly to what we've seen with Kovacic, and Nunes being that 8, but also being the man who can get back, defend extremely well with a very high success rate. It's a win-win for Man City. Now, Man City have already lost a number 8 in Ilkay Gundogan, who has maybe got a little bit more guile, innovativeness, creativity, but when it comes to athleticism, physicality, box-to-box workman, that is exactly what Nunes is, with a lot of quality as well. And you can understand when it comes to that V word, versatility, why Pep Guardiola is such a massive fan of the Portuguese central midfielder. Even if Rodri is to comprise in the midfield with someone like Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, or when Kev comes back, he's going to be in that midfield dynamic, and maybe someone like Matheus Nunes wouldn't be the obvious man on the team sheet. The utility of having someone like Nunes who can pretty much fit in absolutely everywhere and deliver quality week in, week out after making that step up from where he was to the Premier League in a mid-table side, that's hugely, hugely beneficial to Manchester City because they've shown that he can make the step up from one level to another. Wolves to Manchester City is another level to another. but also he's delivering quality week in, week out. And you feel that if he was there at Wolves for another season, it would almost be as if the players that have left Wolves, in terms of Moutinho, in terms of Neves, wouldn't even be missed, because I feel in that midfield he would compensate for all of their quality as well. And it was a massive signing for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But if City can get this one done for the value that has been discussed, and Nunes evidently wants the move as well, I think it's the perfect move all round. As I say, someone in that number 8 who can replace a lot more of Gundogan's qualities that I still think are missing a little bit, and will give City so much more energy in there, which obviously they have energy in there anyway, but even more, it's only going to be good for City. Guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below. What does this mean for Calvin Phillips? What does this mean for Rico Lewis? What does this mean for Tommy Doyle? Another midfielder coming into the equation. Do you agree with it? Would you be happy with Matheus Nunes? I've mentioned in a video before that City were almost blocked off for Eberiche Eze, but this guy for me ticks a lot more boxes. Eze is the flair, but Nunes is the engine that I think City need. And this is a good signing for me, and someone who I think would really bolster those City ranks in terms of versatility as well. Guys, let us know exactly what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as mentioned at the start. Check out the Talking City podcast, where I feature alongside Simon Bajkowski, Joe Bray, and others. And I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.